My hands were shaking, and my lips went numb, right in the middle of the biggest meeting of my life. Everyone's eyes were on me, waiting for the pitch I had spent 3 months preparing. And all I could think about was how weird my coffee had tasted that morning, like something was off. Hit that subscribe, like, and share right now because what happens next will absolutely blow your mind. Let's dive in. The room was filled with board members, investors, and senior partners, the kind of people who don't forgive mistakes. I was supposed to present my tech startup idea. One right move, and I could have walked out with funding, maybe even a partnership deal. But 20 minutes into the meeting, my mind went blank. Not nervous blank, drugged blank. I tried to focus on the screen, but the words blurred. My tongue felt heavy. I turned to my slides, but I couldn't even pronounce half the words. I laughed awkwardly, trying to play it off. But inside, I was screaming. I knew something was wrong. I excused myself and walked straight to the restroom, holding onto the walls like I was drunk. And then, something even worse happened. I fainted. When I woke up, I was lying on a leather couch in the HR office. My boss was there. So was security. And my husband, Adam. They told me I'd collapsed, and the meeting was canceled. My boss looked furious, but also concerned. She said, "We think someone might have put something in your drink. Do you remember anything?" That's when it hit me. This morning, Adam had insisted on making my coffee himself, even though he never did that. He smiled weirdly when he handed it to me. Said something like, "Today's going to be different." I thought he meant it in a good way, but now my instinct screamed something else. I looked at him across the room, and for the first time in 8 years, I didn't recognize the man I married. What was he hiding? Why would he want me to fail? I sat up slowly on the couch, my head pounding, but my thoughts racing even faster. Adam rushed over, pretending to help, acting worried. Too worried. His hand touched my back like nothing was wrong, like he hadn't just watched my entire career fall apart. "Are you okay, babe? You look so pale this morning. I told you to take the day off," he said, trying to sound caring. But I wasn't listening to his voice. I was watching his eyes. They didn't match his words. There was no fear in them. Just control, like someone watching their plan fall perfectly into place. The HR manager politely asked him to step outside while they took a few statements. Adam hesitated, but left, and the door clicked shut behind him. My boss leaned in. "Charlotte, be honest. Did someone give you anything today? Medication, supplements, even food?" I hesitated. What was I supposed to say? That I suspected my own husband drugged me before the most important meeting of my life? I nodded slowly. He made my coffee. "He insisted," I whispered. They exchanged a quick look. Security didn't waste time. They asked me to hand over the cup, if I still had it. I didn't, but something snapped in me. I remembered that Adam had left it in the sink. I always cleaned up, but he told me not to worry about it this morning. He even laughed and said, "I've got it today. Go impress the world." Security dispatched someone to my apartment immediately. HR said they'd cover everything and keep the situation quiet, for now. But the trust was clearly broken. I was driven home in a company car. The driver said nothing, just handed me tissues when he noticed my tears. I wasn't crying from the collapse. I was crying because deep down I knew this wasn't a one-time mistake. I unlocked the door to my apartment. It was quiet, too quiet. Adam was nowhere to be seen. I went straight to the kitchen, and there it was, the coffee cup, still in the sink, barely rinsed. Then my phone rang. It was the security officer. "Don't touch anything," he said. "We're 5 minutes away." 5 minutes passed, like 5 hours. When they arrived, they carefully collected the cup, gloves and all. One of them pulled me aside. "Ma'am, just to be clear, has your husband ever done anything like this before?" "No," I said quietly. "But he's been different lately." And that's when I remembered something else. A small locked drawer in his study. One he always kept closed, even from me. I waited until they left, then walked straight to his desk. I found the drawer, still locked. I grabbed a screwdriver and popped it open. Inside there were receipts, a burner phone, and a printed email, conversation. My name was in it. So was the name of a woman I didn't recognize. The email subject line read, "Phase 2. After her reputation's gone, we split everything." I dropped the paper. My whole body froze. He wasn't just trying to make me fail. He was planning to ruin me completely. My fingers trembled as I picked the paper back up, every word blurred with disbelief. "Make sure the dose doesn't harm her. Just enough to mess up the meeting. Once the board pulls out, she'll be too embarrassed to fight for the company. Then we split the assets, like we discussed. I've already started moving funds. She won't even know." It was signed off with just an initial. K. Who the hell was K? And how long had they been planning this behind my back? I flipped through the rest of the papers in the drawer. Bank statements. Transfers. My name on joint accounts. Now drained. My shares in the startup, slowly transferred to a dummy corporation I'd never heard of. This wasn't just betrayal. This was surgical. I sat on the floor, unable to breathe for a second. 8 years. 8 years of love, struggle, late nights building something from scratch. All while he smiled, kissed me goodnight, and planned my downfall with someone else. And now, with one meeting, he thought he had erased everything I'd built. But he didn't know something. I still had one final card to play. Something I had never told anyone. Not even him. Last year, I quietly filed a patent for the core technology of my startup. My code, my design, my formula. And I did it under a different name. A name only I knew. I had been burned once by a partner in my early 20s, so I made sure I'd never be that vulnerable again. So while he thought he could ruin me and walk away with half, he didn't know that I was the company. Without me, the product was useless. I locked the drawer again and stepped away, wiping my face. Then I heard the front door open. It was Adam, whistling, like it was a normal day. He walked in with flowers. "Heard you fainted," he said with fake concern. "Scared me to death. I rushed home to take care of you." I played along. "Thanks," I said softly, taking the flowers. "That's sweet." He smiled, sat down on the couch, and turned on the TV. "Maybe this is a sign you should slow down. All this stress. Maybe I can take over the investor meetings while you rest, just for a bit." I stared at him. The way he lied so easily. The way he tried to sound like the hero after stabbing me in the back. And then, I did something unexpected. Walked over, kissed his cheek, and said, "Sure, I think that's a great idea." Because now I knew everything I needed to know, and he had no idea what was coming for him. The next morning, I woke up before him. He was still asleep, snoring lightly like someone with a clear conscience. I stood by the window, watching the sunrise, and made a silent promise to myself. He's going to regret ever thinking I was weak. First, I called my lawyer. I didn't tell her everything, just enough. I asked about protecting personal patents in case of divorce. She assured me that if the intellectual property was filed under a different name and predated the marriage's financial entanglement, it was mine alone. That was the confirmation I needed. I then called Olivia. my most trusted friend from university, who also happened to be the quiet tech genius behind our prototype. She was shocked when I told her everything. "Are you serious?" she whispered. "He drugged you? Charlotte, you need to go to the police." "Not yet," I said. "I want to ruin him first. I want him to feel everything he planned for me, multiplied by 10. That same day, I returned to the office, pretending everything was fine. Everyone looked at me like I was fragile, broken. But I smiled, shook hands, and thanked them for their concern. I even visited the boardroom where I collapsed, walked around confidently and said, "Let's reschedule that meeting. I'm feeling much better." They agreed. The meeting was set for Friday. 3 days. 3 days to flip everything. Adam, meanwhile, continued playing the supportive husband. He brought me food, massaged my shoulders, even offered to handle the next pitch. "You just focus on resting," he kept saying. "I'll take care of the hard stuff." And every time he said that, I smiled wider, because I had just found out who Kay was. Olivia ran a background check on the dummy corporation. It was registered under a woman named Karen Tillman, Adam's old coworker from his last job. They'd worked together years ago, and I remembered how he used to talk about her too much. I thought it was just a harmless crush. But the email trails, fake accounts, and text messages proved otherwise. They'd been planning this for months, maybe longer. Here was the real twist. Karen didn't just want half my company. She wanted all of it. They thought once I was discredited and out of the picture, Adam could claim leadership, and Karen would take over as CTO. They'd slowly erase my name from the company I built. But I had something they didn't know. I had a second pitch deck, a real one. The one I didn't upload on the office servers. The one that contained the next-level tech Olivia and I had been building in secret. A version 10 times more powerful than what we had shown so far. And I planned to present it at the rescheduled meeting, without a single mention of Adam. That night, I sat beside him on the couch, watching TV, pretending to laugh at the dumb sitcoms he loved. He leaned in and whispered, "You know, maybe after all this is over, we should take a vacation, clear our heads, celebrate." I nodded. "Yeah, let's celebrate." Because Friday was coming, and I was about to burn his fake kingdom to the ground. Friday came like a storm waiting to happen. I dressed sharply, not flashy, just enough power, in the cut of the blazer and the calmness in my expression to say, "I'm not here to play." Adam was already at the office. He had left early, said he wanted to set things up for me. I knew he had a copy of the old pitch, the incomplete one, the one he planned to use to impress the board and steal control. I let him believe it. The boardroom was full. Investors, board members, legal reps. Even Karen was there, posing, as a strategic advisor. I caught the way she looked at me, like she already owned the place. Adam stood at the front with a fake air of concern. "Charlotte's been under a lot of stress," he began. "I offered to step in today, so—" "We don't lose momentum, I hope that's okay." One of the board members asked, "Is Charlotte not presenting?" Before I could speak, Adam jumped in. "She's still recovering. Trust me, I have her full confidence." That's when I stood up. "No, you don't." My voice was calm. Controlled. Everyone turned to look at me. "I appreciate your concern, Adam, but I'll take it from here." He blinked. "Char, are you sure? You said—" "I said a lot of things. None of them included handing my company to a liar." Gasps. Silence. Karen shifted in her chair. I walked to the front, plugged in my USB, and brought up my deck. The real one. The one no one had seen. As the slides rolled, jaws dropped. Real-time simulations. Upgraded AI. Confidential test results. A new rollout plan with projected revenue that was triple the original estimates. Everything locked and protected under my name. "Where did all this come from?" one investor asked, stunned. I smiled. "This is the real product. What you saw before was the shell. This is the brain." Adam was pale. He stammered, I didn't approve this." "You weren't supposed to," I said, "because you're not the founder. You're not the inventor. You're not even on the patent." Karen stood up, desperate. "This is outrageous. We had an agreement." "I know," I interrupted, "and I've sent the entire email trail to legal. Also, the drugs Adam put in my coffee, that's with the police now. Lab confirmed it yesterday." Now the room really went quiet. I looked at the investors. If anyone still wants to pull out because of instability, I won't hold it against you. But just know, the future of this company doesn't lie with snakes like them. It lies with people who build, not steal. One by one, every person in that room turned their eyes toward Adam and Karen, and then back to me. One of the lead investors stood and said, "We're with Charlotte." And just like that, it was done. Later, when Adam tried to speak to me in the hallway, I didn't stop walking. He grabbed my arm, desperate. "We can fix this, right? Please. We were supposed to be a team." I looked at him, really looked, and saw nothing but a coward behind a mask. "You tried to ruin me for greed," I said coldly. "But you forgot the one rule: never betray the builder. Without me, you're just another man in a suit with no substance." That night, I stood alone on the balcony of my apartment, champagne in hand, watching the city lights glow beneath me. They had tried to humiliate me. They tried to poison me. They tried to erase me. But instead, I destroyed them with the truth. And I didn't just take my power back. I made them watch me rise. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this story if it gave you chills. For more powerful tales of revenge, justice, and triumph, subscribe now.